Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate.
Wife!
Wait, what? Hi, what's happening?
Well, it's a little bit of an odd day today because we were going to be doing a regular episode today.
Damn!
Yeah. Well, the best plans, right? They don't work in Trump times.
The best laid plans of mice and men are fucked by orange trumpkins.
Yeah. So things happened. Things were said. Things were done.
Things were
signed.
Things were signed is the scariest part.
Yeah. So Trump just put out his latest executive order or latest series of. There was a bunch of shit he did today.
Yeah.
And one of them was he signed an order targeting anti-Christian bias.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. The largest religious group in the United States.
And the most enthusiastically annoying.
Right, yeah. They are under siege. They're being targeted. They need help.
They've always been the victim.
I know. But I'm so fucking sick of that bullshit. It's just come on. It's crap.
Yeah.
It's Christians cosplaying as the victim.
As usual.
And I just can't take it. It's too much. And more than that, the things that were said, we're going to get into it. Anyway, things were signed, things were done, and that's what we're doing today. So you ready to do this?
So not NAM chapter 2.
Not NAM.
This is not NAM.
This is not NAM.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
All right, this one's going to be a little different. So usually you kind of lead the discussions, and obviously I spoke first, so that means I'm leading the fucking discussion.
Well, you
guys ready for this shit?
You called me from work
I did.
Today.
I was like, we have to, are we going to Canada? What?
Yeah.
Trump? Fuck? Damn. That's kind of my reaction today. Mm-hmm. It was all those, and if you caught most of those words that were not full words, that's kind of how my whole reaction went throughout the minutes and days and hours that I've been dealing with this now. Not days, hours. Hours, yeah. So it started with a call from my brother, actually, saying, so are you guys going to be okay? And I'm like, what? He's like, did you see what Trump did? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you should probably look that up. Because, of course, my brother knows what we do.
Yes.
And we've kind of talked about it, and we kind of have toyed with the idea that we might need like a bug out kit.
Yeah.
Just because what we're doing isn't exactly kosher with his followers, right?
Right.
And he is a people pleaser.
We had actually been discussing maybe being ready to bug out even under the Biden administration because things have been heating up since the last Trump administration.
Yeah.
So we've had the idea in the back of our minds, but we've always been like, surely this isn't going to get that bad.
So anyway, it is.
It is going to get that bad.
So at the National Prayer Breakfast, which is it's kind of like the Super Bowl for Christian nationalism, and it doesn't have a great halftime show. But anyway, it's that is where he went over and announced a lot of these things that he did. So he said at that one, he said, while I'm in the White House, we will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, hospitals, and in our public squares. And they're going to, just Christians are going to be protected everywhere. You know, and I won't even be able to make like a Satan toast anymore. They'll be like up my ass about it. So let's go over what Trump actually did. Trump signed an executive order directing the DOJ to form a task force to end the war on Christmas, not Christians.
No, he loves them.
So he's trying to end the war on Christmas because we all of us heathens out there, we all fucking hate Christmas, you know? Don't we?
Absolutely.
You hate Christmas, right? It's just terrible.
No, I like it.
Yeah. No, it's generally like most atheists I know celebrate not Christmas, not Christmas, you know.
Right. No,
but like some form of Christmas, right?
Like the jolly lights and the family get-togethers.
You might call it Saturnalia, you might call it Xmas, you might call it just a get-together and with the winter solstice, you know, whatever.
Winter season, yeah.
So, but we don't hate fucking Christmas.
I hate fucking anything.
I hate hearing about fucking Jesus all the time.
Oh, I do.
And I'm like, guys, can you just like keep that to yourself? I don't need to know about this baby Jesus dude.
Or, whatever, do your Jesus baby thing.
Right, yeah.
Just, fuck off with forcing me to do prayers with you and stuff like that.
Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean that we have to pray with you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And then he's going to create a new White House faith office, and it's going to advise the president on religious issues because he doesn't know shit. Right. Because, he held the Bible upside down. Yeah. And like everything he says about the Bible is completely incompetent.
He said 2 Corinthians instead of 2 Corinthians.
Right, but that's not even like the worst of it.
No,
like, he's such a moron when it comes, like, he should just never talk about the Bible. Yeah. He literally knows jack shit about the Bible.
Here's the thing. I don't know jack shit about the Bible either. But you know what the difference is? I'm willing to admit that and to try to learn more. And to say, whoa, I got that wrong.
Compared to him, we do know jack shit about the Bible. Right. We know way more than Trump knows.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if he was, like, at least humble and be like, oh, man, I did hold that upside down. My bad. Or,
humble. I don't think those words even exist in his lexicon.
No. Because to him, humble is weak. And admitting a mistake is weak.
Right. So he also commissioned, he started a commission on religious liberty, which is just basically like a cheering squad for Christianity, maybe. I don't really fucking know what that is.
Go, Team Jesus.
Yeah, so this all kind of started with the National Prayer Breakfast thing that they do every year. And Trump had some declarations to make there and some, catering to his base things to say there. So at this breakfast, he says a couple of things I want to read here. He says the mission, this is from Trump, the mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible. The IRS, the FBI, terrible. in other agencies, I can't do Trump very well.
No.
But
no.
like I can see it terrible. It's terrible.
Everything's the worst.
Yeah.
And the biggest.
Right. And then this one is like not this was the one that really caught my attention. The way what was said here. And he said that he's going to fully prosecute anti-Christian violence and vandalism in our society, and to move heaven and earth to defend the rights of Christians and religious believers nationwide.
Yeah, that caught my attention as well.
I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, that's the part that I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, fully prosecute anti-Christian violence and vandalism? What?
Right.
What?
Well, and where do we draw the line? What, like, who gets to define vandalism and violence, right? Like, I started thinking immediately after seeing that I was like, our podcast could be considered vandalism, maybe harm. I don't know. Like,
violence,
you could construe it to be, you could construe it to be something like that towards a Christian if you were a Christian who felt like you're always persecuted. Yeah. Right? And they do. Yeah. They feel like they're always persecuted.
They do. They feel like me being allowed to say my piece is against them.
Right.
Like me being allowed to put up my notice on the bulletin board next to their 5 notices on the bulletin board is harmful to them.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, this was started, well, no, the actual reference is to some things that happened. Like there was an uptick in like graffiti and things that happened at churches after the Roe v. Wade decision got rescinded, you know? So like that was a thing that was happening because obviously churches were kind of spearheading this whole movement.
The whole anti-women's bodily autonomy thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's nothing in comparison to what Christians were doing at abortion clinics.
Right.
Like the amount of violence and harassment that was happening at abortion clinics was way, way more than what was happening at any of the churches.
Or how about Christians shooting up gay clubs?
Right.
Or Christians doing harm against gays in general, you know? Excuse you? You want to talk about violence done unto others? You feel persecuted? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, and with all the shit that's happening right now because of Trump and the government that's currently in office, I mean, I would say that, you know, the LGBTQIA community is feeling very persecuted right now.
The trans part of that especially.
Right. So, you know, if we're going to go with who's persecuted, maybe we should create a task force for the LGBTQIA community.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Like that to me is much more needed than a fucking Christian whatever task force thing. Who cares? I don't fucking care. You guys are the biggest fucking group out there, and you need help defending yourselves. I just call bullshit. You all are out there telling me how Christian I need to be all the time, even though you don't know whether I'm a Christian or not.
You knock on our fucking doors, for Christ's sakes.
I'm like, come on, like give yourself a reality fucking check.
Yeah,
this is not you're not. This isn't correct.
No,
it's not correct.
The inability to see what's happening and to have any kind of compassion or empathy for the people that they're fucking with is just astounding.
Right. I mean, they basically, they were forced to make cakes for gay people and they were like, my God, we're being persecuted. And I'm like, no, it's just laws, guys. We don't separate black people from white people anymore. We don't, you know, like we enact laws to have inclusivity in our society.
But that's the problem. They don't want to be forced to be inclusive. They don't want to have to hang out with whatever the other is this week.
Right. But just because they don't want to do something, to them, that is being persecuted.
Right. Right.
No one's forcing you to fucking make the cake. Yeah. You can just quit.
Right.
You do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You know? But if you're going to make the cake, then you got to make the cake equally.
Yeah.
So that's all we're asking. Mm-hmm. We're not asking for you to go and, you know, whatever. It's just such bullshit to me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start asking people wherever I work, are you a Nazi?
Right? I mean,
and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm not going to help you.
right? Like, I'm sorry, it's against my religion to help Nazi. What's my religion? Oh, I don't have one.
Right. Yeah.
I don't believe in a higher power. It's against my moral code.
Yeah. And besides, I mean, Christian churches have tax exemptions for their churches. And I mean, there's all kinds of special perks that Christians get for just being Christian. And it's not that way across the board for people. Like atheists have no special things anywhere at all. In fact, we're one of the most hated groups in America, from what I understood from a poll. It was a Pew Research poll that I think I read. And we're one of the most hated groups in America. Not because we're terrible people.
No.
Just because we don't like God.
Well,
Or we don't believe in God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can only not rape people and kill people if you believe in God, which is funny because
Seems like the only people that do the raping and killing do believe in God.
yeah, exactly.
So whatever.
Once again, introspection, not a thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just like, it's been one thing after another with like that whole last term with Trump, right? There was this whole run up with like places like Hobby Lobby, right? And Chick-fil-A or whatever, all these Christian establishments that wanted to not pay for trans care, abortion care, whatever.
Right.
All this stuff.
They didn't want to have to.
They wanted these religious exemptions.
They didn't want the insurance carriers. They didn't want to have to buy and care for the insurance carriers for their employees.
Right.
If the insurance carrier was going to cater to, I don't know, the health of people.
Right. And I could be wrong, but I think they actually won some of those arguments.
They did.
So, like, where's the persecution? Like, you literally get to shit on people because of your religious beliefs, and you won in court to have the right to shit on people for their religious beliefs.
We made them go to court in the first place. that was the shit of it.
Whatever.
We made them have to defend their stance.
It's such crap.
How dare you question my right to punch people in the face?
Muslims they've had travel bans.
Yeah.
Like, they've been persecuted. You know, it's not that I don't like the Muslim God any more than I don't believe in the Muslim God any more than I believe in the Christian God.
Yeah, Allah, Yahweh, El, whatever the hell you guys are calling them this week. I don't believe in any of those magic guys in the sky.
Right. I'm an equal opportunity non-believer in gods.
Correct.
You know, and that's how I believe in equal rights for gods. None of them exist.
Exactly.
Yeah. But persecution, that they were persecuted.
Yeah.
At some level, right? Atheists, there's still fucking states that have laws on the books that say we can't run for office.
Yeah.
I mean, persecution.
Yeah.
We're being persecuted, like, legitimately.
And even if you are allowed to run for office, if you win, they are convinced that you have to swear on the Bible. Like, there are many Christians that didn't even know that, like, when, who was it? Was it Biden, maybe, I guess? Didn't swear on the Bible, and the newscaster was like, doesn't have to. Maybe it wasn't Biden, it was somebody who ran for office, but the dude was like, you gotta swear on the Bible. And the newscaster was like, actually you don't. And the guy was like, yeah, you do. And the newscaster was like, actually, there is no law stating that you have to swear on the Bible.
Right.
Like,
well, Trump didn't swear on the Bible.
Right.
So, I mean, which I think is hilarious. He's the most loved Christian president ever.
Yeah.
And he has no Christian about him.
None.
There is no Christian anything in that dude.
Well, now because he survived his assassination attempt, he's walking around saying that
might have well been a resurrection.
Well, he's saying that he was preserved by the grace of God, and therefore he has God's mandate.
Yeah.
He's in office for a purpose, God's purpose.
All right. Yeah. That's just insane. So, so this is, this is about pandering.
Yeah.
You know, like
totally.
This is all about pandering to his base and making sure that they love all the wonderful, like, obviously everybody who's not Christian is evil.
Well, yeah.
Right? So he's working up his base about all this shit. And it's causing this horrible situation where he's getting Christians riled up against everybody else, right? And I don't know what to do about it, because my first reaction today was, what are we going to do?
Me and you.
Me and you.
Personally.
Yeah.
Like, I texted you, actually, should we take this as challenge accepted, or should we take this as, Eve, okay, message received, run away with my tail between my legs. I don't want to get in trouble.
Bit of both, right?
Right?
I think maybe we should be ready for both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, challenge accepted. And part of the challenge accepted, we're starting as soon as humanly possible. I've already removed ads from the last 10 to 15 episodes that we've done, but I can't do all thousands of our episodes. So I had to reach out to our provider to ask them to do it. So it might take a couple of weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take them, so I don't want to promise anything, but in the near future, we will be doing no ads on our podcast.
Correct.
Now, that being the case, I know many of you out there are our patrons, and part of the perk of being a patron is no ads. So I'm going to ask that not only do you not stop paying, but maybe refer other people to start paying. Because the reason we're doing this is not to give everybody the same perks you do.
Right.
The reason we're doing this is because some of the people that advertise on our podcast, and we have no control over who that is.
Right.
But some of those people give money to Trump. And I can't abide that anymore.
No.
I cannot allow that to happen.
It's easy enough to just let it go, but now this specific podcast and this specific law that he's passing are at odds with each other. Yeah.
No, this is one too far, because I mean, we're literally we were on the phone today talking about how far does this have to go before we try to get out to Canada, or whatever,
go on the run or whatever. Like, are we going to become like political targets?
Right.
Like, what?
Well, and it seemed like, my gut reaction is that this is just him, again, pandering to his base. I don't think that it'll go much further than that, but I also don't know how far he'll take this pandering, right? Like, how far does this reinforcement thing where he's getting this reaction from people, how far does he take that? How much joy, how much can he get from that?
Well, and I also want to be clear that, yes, he said all these things at the National Prayer Breakfast of what he was going to do. I want to be clear that later that afternoon, he did go out and have an executive order signed.
Oh, yeah.
And I have some quotes from it if I don't want to skip ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I have some quotes from the executive order that he signed that,
please, go
passed.
Ahead.
Okay. The first one is, my administration will not tolerate anti-Christian weaponization of government or unlawful conduct targeting Christians. The law protects the freedom of Americans and groups of Americans to practice their faith in peace, and my administration will enforce the law and protect those freedoms. My administration will ensure that any unlawful and improper conduct, policies, or practices that target Christians are identified, terminated, and rectified.
That sounds very
vague and
specific, harmful.
Yeah. It goes on further down the page to say what the task force is going to be tasked with doing, one of which is identify deficiencies in existing laws and enforcement and regulatory practices that have contributed to unlawful anti-Christian governmental or private conduct, and recommend to the relevant agency head or recommend to the president through the deputy chief of staff for policy and the assistant to the president for domestic policy, as applicable, appropriate actions that agencies may take to remedy failures to fully enforce the law against acts of anti-Christian hostility, vandalism, and violence.
And that hostility bit got added in there.
Uh-huh.
From what he said.
From what he said, they added hostility into the actual executive order.
I mean, does calling God a dick, does that count as hostility towards Christianity?
I would say...
Because, I mean, I'm personally just being hostile towards a fake God.
But I would say it counts as hostility. I mean, if I had to be asked, if I'm being objective, I would say that's pretty fucking hostile.
Okay. All right.
You know? I think it's valid. I think it's warranted. I think it doesn't fucking matter because God isn't real. But I think that even saying God isn't real could be construed as being hostile.
Well, and that's our concern, right?
Right.
So, and I don't want to be alarmist, right?
Let me read the last one and let's see how alarmist we aren't trying to be here. Okay?
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Just one last sentence. The Department of Justice shall provide such funding and administrative and technical support as the task force may require to the extent permitted by law and as authorized by existing appropriations. All the money and whatever you want to make sure you take this shit down.
Right.
Blank check.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know. Am I being alarmist?
I don't know. I mean, there's not really a good way to gauge this until things start happening, right?
Right. But we've seen already what has happened, and I think it's fair to believe him at this point when he says that he's going to try to enact things. Now, I will take a step back, take a beat, take a breath, and say he is throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall by passing all of these blank enforcements and executive orders and all this. He's putting out as many as possible to dismantle the government and confuse departments and to empty it out and, you know, just take control of it as much as possible, right? So a lot of the executive orders are being challenged in courts, which is to be expected. And even though it's pissing him the fuck off, because he's like, but I'm the king. I don't understand.
Right.
Be that as it may, he's still putting these out with enthusiasm publicly and with his staff excited to get it into motion.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it might be... It might be challenged in court.
Even if they are being challenged, it doesn't really matter if he just decides to go do something.
Right.
Who's going to say no?
Right. And that's the other part of the equation is, let's say that it is challenged. We have a First Amendment, we have a 14th Amendment that talks about birthright citizenship being guaranteed. Like, if you're born here, you have this. It's not a gift. It's not a present. It's guaranteed to you.
Right.
Boom. It's automatic.
Yeah.
And yet he's decided, no.
Yeah, that's not how that works. But I mean,
but
no one's telling him no, really.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody keeps saying, oh, but it'll be challenged in court, and I'm like, y'all checked out the courts though, right? And I'm afraid that people don't realize that is still a problem, because even if it's at the lowest courts, that is thousands of dollars and manpower hours that you got to spend out of your own fucking pocket or the help of those who support you fighting it. And in the meantime, you are being pointed out publicly to your neighbors, your friends, your family, your job. And okay, so let's say it goes even further up the chain and goes to the Supreme Court. Hi, have you met them? They're conservative.
Right.
So I'm sorry, it'll get challenged. Don't worry. You're being alarmist. I'm not convinced, y'all.
Well, this brings me to a good point that I wanted to make. And part of the reason that we're not the reason we're doing this podcast tonight, but it is something that we need to mention. And there is every reason right now to be contributing to the people who are fighting, right? And that's going to be your ACLU. That's going to be Freedom from Religion Foundation. That's going to be your American Atheists. That's going to be
your Planned Parenthood.
The secular coalition, like Planned Parenthood. Yeah. And I'm sure I'm leaving a fuck ton of great organizations off of that list. But this is the time to be contributing to them because they're going to be out there fighting these legal battles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we're doing our small part here by not contributing ads to people who might be supporting Trump.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to advertise on our site anything that has any tie back monetarily or otherwise to Trump or anybody. Mm-hmm. So we're ending all of that. I did want to cover this because, like I said earlier, I know we're giving up, we're giving everybody everything. Mm-hmm. The stuff that we used to, have people only be on Patreon for, we're going to be giving it to everybody.
Yeah.
But we run this podcast on a very shoestring budget. And in
our living room, in our pajamas, just as normal people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I this is not me being, I'm not exaggerating here when I say this, that we are a top 5% podcast in the world. And that's legitimate. Like you can get on Listen Notes and you can see that we're a top 5% podcast in the world. But our income from patrons and ads, and we don't make really any, nobody ever buys merch. So you can go buy merch. There's merch on our, we have merch. But anyway, patrons and ads up until this month hovers right around $250 a month.
Which means that the podcast about pays for itself and nothing more.
It does pay for itself, right? And it allows me to experiment with a new service here or a new service there. It doesn't allow us to advertise any further than what we are. All of our advertising is done by me getting on social media and doing self-advertising, right? Because we don't have the money coming in for the podcast to do that.
There is no ad campaign or whatever.
Well, $100 of that is going to be the ads. So we're going from $250 a month down to $150, which we'll do this at $0 a month.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we will pay for this to do it, but we would love the help.
I mean, that's how we started out.
Yeah. So if you are contributing or considering contributing to Freedom from Religion Foundation, then please donate to them or the ACLU or whoever before you donate to us. But if you do donate to them and you're giving them like $20, maybe consider stopping over and giving us $1.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that supporting the people who are out there standing up and saying something against this fucking orange asshat maybe are putting themselves on the line a little bit, and I know, and I'm not trying to.
We don't want to overstate like our
what
great
we are, where we are,
place
right.
in the grand scheme of things.
But
we're not nothing, but we're not nothing, and we're not.
But it is a little scary being here.
Yeah.
It's a little scary being a podcast that's out there talking about the atheist side of the atheist take on a Bible when our president is telling us that he's going to do the things that he's going to prosecute
people like us.
I mean,
like,
that's fucked up.
Yeah. In America.
I was at work today and I got a call from my brother and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
You got that call and then you immediately called me and I went down the rabbit hole and I literally had an anxiety attack because all I could imagine is, I sent you this clip, the scene from the original miniseries of The Stand where Kathy Bates, it's towards the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates is a radio host. She's not even credited. I didn't realize that.
Huh.
Yeah. She plays Ray Flowers. She's a radio host, and Franny and her dad are listening to the radio. So this is before the flu has wiped everybody out.
Right.
Okay. Before she even left her house, she's living at home with her dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as the radio host, Kathy Bates, Ray Flowers, is talking to callers, we learned through listening that bodies are being burned and, the contagion is out of control and that the military is trying to quiet it down, blah, blah, blah. And then they break into her building while she's on the air and they literally shoot her while she's on the air. And I first saw the original miniseries when I was like, I don't know, 10 or something.
Yeah.
And to me, even though the whole scene is about the movie itself, the miniseries itself is about, and it's based on a Stephen King book, of course, The Stand. It's based on like this whole greater good versus evil and God versus the devil kind of thing.
Right.
But none of that was in this scene. And yet this was the scariest scene to me. She gets shot on the air and Franny gasps, puts her hand to her mouth and goes, "Oh my God, what is happening right now?" Like she's terrified because, and I have goosebumps as I'm talking about this because this doesn't happen.
Right.
That doesn't happen in the United States, you guys.
Well, and I think the bigger question is, how do you know when it's gone too far?
Right?
Right? Like, what is the gauge that we would implement to understand, okay, shit just got real.
Yeah.
Right? Because until it happens to you, I don't know that we're capable of understanding maybe this got too far.
Right.
You know?
That's my biggest fear is, okay, it's still over there.
Yeah.
And it's still probably only going to be like the government offices that he goes after, right?
When you keep
Maybe?
justifying, right? You keep
Yeah.
justifying like, well, we won't be the next ones, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be us next. We'll keep fighting. You know, we'll do what we can.
Mm-hmm.
But like, when do you go to Canada?
When
That's the answer I need.
Yeah, like, okay, I've been texting you, like, I've been asking you this question since the first administration, like, should we have go bags packed? And, like, I'm the alarmist. I'm the one that's easily scared, and you're always poo-pooing me. The fact that this was nerve-wracking was when you literally texted back, "That's probably a good idea." And I was like, this really isn't... Like, I had room to be alarmist because I knew I was safe within the people surrounding me to talk me down. It's not alarmist when the people around you are scared too.
And it's not just us.
No, but that was when I went from just being like, oh no, the flu's coming. Oh no, this is coming. Oh no, that's coming. And, you know, I'm typically right, but I get poo-pooed often enough that I have allowed myself to wear the label of alarmist.
Yeah.
Even though, again, I do typically see it before it comes.
Sure.
But the fact that, like, oh no, it might be here now, guys. We might actually be seeing the actual crumbling of our country and democracy and freedom and the ability to say God's a dick without getting shot.
I am going to say that I don't think that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, in the end, I am you, but you know me.
You're the eternal,
you know,
sunshine boy and looking on the bright side optimist.
Yeah.
And I'm the cynical, jaded pessimist.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that I want you to be right this time. I don't know that I can.
I never want to be right. I love being talked down.
Sure. No, I get it, but I also don't want to wait too long.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what prompted my reaction today.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I want to say this too. We mentioned, you know, tossing us $1 if you're going to toss freedom from religion or whoever, $20, right? But the other way you can help us is by spreading the word. Like, maybe you don't have money to give us. I get that.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
Like we understand that more than you would know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the best way all of you can help us is by sharing this with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Whether in person or your social media or wherever. But if you know somebody that might enjoy this, share it with them. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody that is scared about what Trump's doing and feels alone, send them this episode.
Yeah.
You know, like, let them know that there are other people that feel this way.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing worse than being scared is being scared by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, we're all in this together. You're not alone. We're all terrified together. Yay!
And the truth is, none of us know what to do. We've never had this happen. This has never happened before.
The word unprecedented needs to be like fucking marked out of the dictionary. I'm so tired of hearing it.
Right? Yeah.
How many unprecedented things can you say happen before it's just, this is like the craziest century ever?
Currently, I just wish we were unprecedented.
Now, see, that could be a little dangerous to say, so let's just move on. Keep rolling.
I just meant, you know, maybe he retires.
Sure, okay. Anyways, ...
All All right. Do you have anything else to add about this?
Y'all need to talk me down because I'm freaked the fuck out.
Oh, I will say this too. Okay. Our Discord. It is a really, really excellent community of people.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is.
And granted, generally our best group is when we do our lives, which are going to be, I want to say this again, we're doing them Tuesday nights now.
10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday on Discord.
Yeah, we've gone back to a Tuesday night. But if you join us over there, it's great people. It's a great community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked about not wanting to be alone through all this. Come over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your normal social media.
Right.
It's like a online version of Cheers.
It really is.
Everybody knows your name, you know, and they're always glad you came.
And they answer questions and they help each other. They support each other.
Yeah.
We're a really fun crew. And if you are feeling scared, come over there and somebody will send you a hug. You
might have to wade through some inside jokes because we've all been over there for so long. We've lost our thread on what is outside of our circle. But,
yeah. Yeah, but ask for, like, what the fuck does that mean? And say it just like that. What the fuck does that mean?
Definitely.
And we'll tell you.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're somebody like me, be like, I'm really feeling scared. I need a hug, guys.
But
everybody will send you a hug.
Oh, yeah. Step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Come over to Discord. Join a really great community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's no strings attached. Like, we are the worst money-making scheme on the planet because we don't ever ask. We give away everything.
It's true.
We're like, here, have it all.
It's true.
And if you want to give us money, give us money. But, like, we don't ask for anything in return. We're just like, you know what? If we had to pay for this all ourselves, we would.
Yeah.
But we could use the help.
Right now,
That's
yeah.
all. And, you know, but more than that, we could use the community.
Please.
So join us there.
Come make me feel better, y'all.
All right. I think that's all we got for tonight.
Well, the cat just hit the litter
box.
So
That means we're done.
We're done.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.